Another important aspect of business is the ability to effectively manage multiple systems without becoming an essential part of it. So let's say that if you have to be out for a year, how do you think you'll find your company after that time?
Well, that's another thing that I haven't done very well. I don't have anybody in the organization that really can step up and even to pay the bills and all that, and I worry about that a little bit. I do have a great team as far as being gone for a couple weeks. I can go and not have to worry about it at all. I mean, they step up and they've been here. My brother-in-law, he's been here long enough that he can do it, but he may not be able to pay the bills or do the payroll or whatever. So I'm bringing, my secretary works part-time 3 days a week, and I'm bringing her up. I trust her, and she will help me pay the bills and do that type of stuff. So I'm kind of working towards that goal that it could carry on. But the guys, they can do the bidding as well as I can do the bidding. It's just mainly the paying the bills and going from day-to-day stuff. And making the decisions, do I advertise in this or advertise in that? So, but when I leave for a couple weeks or 3 weeks, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go in November to Brazil for a couple weeks, and I'm not really worried about it too much. They can pretty much handle it.
All right, so pretty much with a little bit more training, they'll be ready.
Yeah, and they can make it work, I think, if I had to.
All right, have you had any experience during your career that have changed the way you run your business?
No, I just can't think of anything right off the top of my head. I just I've never had any I know that it hasn't happened to me, but I always, in the back of my mind, is lawsuits. Everybody that's what worries me the most, is just lawsuits, and I probably worry about stuff that hasn't even happened and may not happen, but I remember worrying about that in my other things. So I guess that could be one thing that I constantly try to cover myself on, but that's about it. I haven't really had anything happen in the business that would have changed the course of why I do it today.
That keeps you focused and prepared.
Yeah, try to. I mean, I'm not the best at that, but I do worry about that.
Could you describe us how is a typical day for you?
Well, my days can change. I mean, tomorrow I've got to be out at a customer's house at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and to look at a job, but typically what I try to do is I try to spend the mornings in the office and get as much done in the paperwork, proposals, paying bills, that type of stuff, anything, making phone calls, and then hopefully sometimes that'll leave my afternoons where I can go out and I try to set up my appointments in the afternoon. But like tomorrow it's 8 o'clock. It just doesn't always work that way, but that's kind of the way I do it. So usually in the mornings I'm here, and then in the afternoons, like this today, I was here until about 3, and then I went and did some stuff. So mainly that's how I do it. I used to sit here in the office, and then somebody would call, and I'd take off and go take care of them, and then come back and try to pick up where I'm at, and then somebody else would call, so I try to schedule everything in the afternoon.
Okay. So Steve, what kind of education or training would you recommend to a person that want to start their own business?
I don't have a degree or anything, but I wish so many times that I would have got a degree in business, and I don't even know if that would have helped. But I think maybe I would like to think it might have helped is to have a degree in that. But I think one of the main thing is to start a business in something that you don't enjoy would be the big mistake. You really have to enjoy it, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it, And I think it has to be something like, for example, if I started a business in auto mechanics, that would be a big mistake. I don't like it. I don't like working with cars, you know. But security, I do like. I was a reserve police officer here in Junction City back in the 80s. I've thought about becoming a policeman. I'm on Crime Stoppers right now. So I enjoy nothing. What I like the most is when the police department calls and wants a video of something, you know, or a log of a alarm system, you know, of what time that alarm, you know, the alarm went off. Helping those guys out, I enjoy that, you know. But I would say you would want to don't do anything that you don't enjoy.
Okay.
You know?
And what other ways of learning what you didn't know you use? Do you read books? Do you got help from people that knew?
Yeah. When we first started this, you know, when I asked the guy if he wanted to sell his own alarm business, and he said, yeah, and I said, is it easy? And he said, sure. But it wasn't real easy. It took us, and we still struggle with keeping up with technology because it changed into the alarm business 20 years ago. There would have been a period of time where it didn't change much, but it's changing all the time. And so the vendors that we use have schools that we go to. Not the state, but the alarm association has classes that you can take. And I would recommend those because you just have to stay up with that. You know, we're always learning. The other a year and a half ago, we took on a new line of product called DMP, and we had to learn all that over again on how to program the panels and all that. So and now with everything so much available, you don't know what the next customer is going to want. I had a guy in here today who had some neighbors that got broke into, and he was wanting to know if I knew if he could hook up a beam where somebody would walk through this beam and it would activate a barking dog. You know, I hadn't heard of that, but I said it's not impossible because with our alarm systems, any output would trigger any relay that would make that barking dog do that. You know, you just got to come up with the barking dog.
The sound.
Yeah, with the sound, you know. So I would say any of that. Electronics, you know, you can go to these Votech schools, you know, getting to know relays and how they work, and any electronics type school would be a lot more than what I started out with. So I would say electronic schools, anything like that could help you with that.
All right, so that kind of answered my next question, which was what would you recommend to a person looking for a career specifically on the security services? Yeah. To pretty much stay on top of the technology.
Yeah, I would probably go. I would think that he would need to be work on computers, be able to enjoy the computers and tearing them apart and replacing the hard drive and motherboards and know how to get around software, and then maybe electronic class, because to understand how relays work, and because that's what it is, you know. Nowadays you can activate your curtains to come down, you know, by a push of a button, or your heat come on, or any of it.
Even through your cell phone.
Yeah, right. I
can activate your lights and your alarm system.
Yeah, and it's all relays that do that. So understanding how that works is a big part of that, you know. So that's what I would recommend. And have a love for it. You know?
All right, Steve. It's been a pleasure, you know, getting to know you a little bit more and the history of your business. We really appreciate your time and your insights. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. And this is it for until the next interview. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.